Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be trying out these Woodless color pencils. I saw these recently when I was doing a bit of online shopping because I've been doing that quite a lot lately and I had to try them out because Woodless colored pencils just look so interesting to me. Like, it's a pencil that's basically completely made out of, you know, the core of the pencil, the part that you actually use. Now I've seen that a lot actually with graphite, but I have never actually seen colored pencil form with these. So let's dive in and see what they're like. So once I opened them up, straight away I noticed something. These are a little bit more heavy compared to your regular colored pencil, and I'm guessing that's because the wood in colored pencils is probably pretty lightweight, and I'm guessing they're a bit more dense with just the cores. So that was an interesting find. So this set here is actually a 24 piece. It is from the brand Mont Marte, which is a great affordable brand that you can get in Australia. It's more on the student grade style of things, but I found a lot of their stuff, especially things like pouring paints, have been actually pretty good. So I have high hopes with these pencils. Now before I begin an artwork, I want to swatch these out because I want to sort of get a good feel for how these pencils work and how the colors look. And overall, not too bad actually. The colors do look nice and vibrant, and we do have quite a nice little range here. They're definitely not Prismacolors or Derwents or anything like that. Those pencils are on a whole nother level, but for an affordable brand, these do look very nice, and the leads are nice and strong. So I had actually no issues with the leads breaking or anything like that, which was really nice. I found that pencils like these actually worked pretty well when you want to sort of cover a large area of space. You can just sort of tilt the pencil to its side to sort of get like a wider range of shading, which actually worked pretty well. And as you can see at the moment, I'm just testing a little bit on how they blend and also how they erase. And overall, not that bad actually. I was quite surprised with these. So now's the time to make an artwork, and of course, you know what I'm going to draw. I've been quite predictable lately, and I have been diving into and just drawing the things that make me happy the most, and just things that I feel like drawing at the time. And sometimes that's Pokemon, and a lot of the time that is dragons. So that's what we're drawing today. With this little guy, I wanted to draw something more on the cute side and a little bit more chunky. Lately I've been drawing dragons with like really long necks and like swirly tails, which is pretty awesome, but I like to mix things up sometimes, so I was really trying to emphasize shapes on this little guy. And as you can see, he's got like a little bean shaped body and then a thick sort of curly tail, and he's got those like long ears as well. I don't often draw ears on a dragon because I see them more like lizards and like reptiles, and you don't often see those with ears. But today I decided, you know what, I'm gonna give him little ears, and maybe he'll be like a little bit more bat-like in his attributes and stuff. So I sketched him out on this piece of paper, but as you can see, he's not perfectly centered or anything like that. So I'm actually going to transfer the sketch onto a new piece of paper that we're going to use for the final illustration. Normally I would like to just use a light box and trace it, but for some weird reason this paper doesn't really like the light box, and not much light was actually showing through this paper. So I decided on an old technique that I used to do, where I would sort of scribble on the back, and then we use that as a sort of carbon paper sort of deal. And when I trace over the lines with a pen and then I lift it up from the paper that's underneath, you can see that the graphite from the back is actually transferred onto the new paper, and here we have our new sketch. So with this little guy, I decided to give him a slight floral theme. As you can see, he does have a lot of round attributes. His ears are even sort of petal shaped, and throughout his design I've given him little zigzags in either patterns or you know, like scales on his head or his tail, and I decided to actually carry that over to the flowers that are going to be drawn with him. Now for the line art, I actually decided on blue, mainly because I didn't want to just go with pure black line art. I really love to try and push colors in things, and sometimes if you just add some color to that line art, it will make it look so much more colorful than just, you know, your normal black line art. So yeah, I decided on blue because it was a nice dark but still vibrant color, and it would work pretty well for the line art, and it would actually go with a lot of the colors that I had planned to use later on in this illustration. For the flowers, I actually decided to line them in a pinky purple color because I have planned to make them pink. Now just to fill the space and add a little bit more detail, I decided to have some sort of foliage or grass, or maybe it's the thin leaves from the flowers, I don't know, but I just stuck those in areas that looked pretty good. So for the base colors of this little dragon guy here, I actually decided on a few different purples, as you can see. Now I tried to have a few different hues in like each area so that it looked more vibrant than just one solid color, if that would make sense, and I tried to have the slightly more bluish purples in the shadow, and more warmer sort of reddish purpley pinky colors in where the highlights are. Now where the really bright highlights are, I actually decided to add in a different color, so that's why I left them white at this moment. And then after that, I decided I was going to add a little bit of blue into those shadows as well, just to sort of, you know, deepen them even more, because I really want to sort of push the colors in this illustration, because we have some really nice pencil texture here, especially with this sort of textured paper, and I wanted to have a lot of color in here to really sort of push these pencils and sort of use as many colors as I can. Now the accent color of this little guy, I decided to use green, and that's because we are using blue for the line art. So I thought purple would go really well with the blue, but so will green, and that's because purple actually has blue mixed into it, and so does green. See, color theory. And that's also why I decided to put a little bit of orange into the into the super bright highlights, because that's actually a complementary to blue, so it would really make it really contrasty, and yeah, I think it looks pretty good and colorful already. Now I have to say, I am having a lot of fun with these pencils. The colors do look pretty great, and I am very happy with the way they look. One thing I will say though is that the white colored pencil actually isn't all that opaque, which I kind of wish it was, because sometimes I like to use a white pencil to add in, you know, brighter highlights and stuff like that. But that pencil, I don't know, it didn't really layer over the colors that well, like you couldn't really see it too well, but I actually used it a bit to try and blend the pencils anyways. Now I don't want to blend too much, honestly, because I am really enjoying that texture that you can see on the pencils, and that's thanks to the paper and the fact that I'm not pushing super hard and burnishing. I'm sort of doing the more layered technique that you can use with pencils, where you do a whole bunch of light layers instead of just destroying the tooth of the paper on the first go, if that makes any sense. And like I said earlier as well, I had zero issues with the tip of the pencils snapping or anything like that. I was actually kind of worried going into this that I would snap one of the pencils in half, because that's happened to me with stuff like pastels. I'm kind of a little bit clumsy, but these stood up really well, and they are really nice and strong, and they don't break like Prismacolors do, so that was an interesting experience, I guess, because I'm used to the tips of my pencils breaking a lot, because Prismacolors will do that, but I don't mind anyways, because I love the results I can get with them. And because of how strong they were, I didn't actually have to sharpen these pencils at all while I was making this drawing. Now, that isn't to say that they stayed fully sharp. They did dull a little bit, but what's great about woodless colored pencils is that you can basically, when the pencil is a little bit dull, you can actually just use the technique where you shade in using the side of the pencil because there's no wood there, and that will actually make the pencil sharper as long as you rotate it a little bit while you're shading a large area. So that was a plus, honestly, and I have to say I had zero wastage as well, because when you sharpen a pencil you kind of lose some of that some of the filament, should I say. It's not really lead, is it? But the pencil medium that's in there, I actually didn't waste any of that, which was surprising because I thought I would have to sharpen these and then like you'd get a lot of the pencil crumbs sort of wasted, but no. So now for the flowers in the sort of background, I actually decided to use a few different colors for these because I wanted them pink, but I still wanted that sort of colorful, vibrant, sort of feel. So I actually decided on using the pink for the highlights of the flowers, and then the scarlet, which is a coolish red color, for the shadows of the flowers, and that actually helped to keep it nice and vibrant and pink while having a lot of color and hue in them. And for the middles of the flowers, I actually decided to do a sort of light yellowy orange color just to sort of throw back to the orangey yellowy highlights in the dragon. So that sort of made it all work together really nice. And after this, I decided to add just a little bit of black into some areas of the line art that had more shadows, just so it was a little bit more noticeable. Now I tried my best not to cover up too much of that blue, and then afterwards I actually went over the top with a little bit of blue to sort of keep it blue looking. And then after this I decided to add just a subtle shadow using that side angle technique of shading with the pencil, and we are done. And honestly, I really love this drawing. I just think it's super cute. The colors are really vibrant and nice, and I was actually really surprised with these pencils as well, and I had a blast drawing with them. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had so much fun drawing this, and I hope you like the art. Let me know in the comments what you think of this drawing, and hit that like and subscribe button as well if you haven't already. It helps me out so much. Hope you're all having a wonderful day out there. Please stay safe, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye everyone.